Hi, this is Jo from Jo Creates. In this video I'm going to describe to you how to knit some 2x2 ribbing. This stitch is knit in multiples of 2. As you can see here, we've got 2 of each different stitch type, and what that means is that when you cast on, you need to cast on in multiples of 2, that's 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches, etc. Otherwise you'll end up with some wonky ribbing. So to show you what I mean, I've cast on 12 stitches here, and I'm going to start this rib stitch by knitting 2 knits. I'm going to make sure the yarn's behind my work, and I'm going to knit into this first stitch here. Slide them along a bit, and I'm going to knit into this next stitch here. Oh, I can feel my working yarn's got a bit tangled. Sorry, my tail yarn. I'm just going to pull the tail out of the way like that, so you can see what I'm doing. Right, so now I'm going to purl, so I'm going to move to the front. Remember, yarn to the front to purl, yarn to the back to knit. So I'm going to purl 1 and I'm going to purl 2, like that. Next we're knitting, so I'm yarn to back and I'm knitting. As you can see, I'm going into the front loop of each of these stitches. Nothing too complicated, it's fairly straightforward. Yarn to front to purl the next 2 stitches. It's really important that you make sure that you've got the yarn at the front or the back, depending on whether you're knitting or purling, because it's really easy to accidentally make some holes in this one by having the yarn in the wrong place. So when you're first doing it, make sure you've thought about where your yarn needs to be. Oops, drop that, pick that up, and that's a final purl 2. So there you go. As you can see, I've now knit the first row for you like that. So let's start with row 2 then. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I've just done, but because we're now knitting back across the other way, I will need to reverse the order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the row before, just to make sure we understand whether I'm knitting or purling. You see, I've got 2 knit stitches here and 2 purl stitches here. You can tell by where the bump is. The purl is at the front on the bump, the bump is at the front on the purl stitches and the back on the knit stitches. So as you can see, because there's no bump on these stitches, I'm going to knit them. Yarn to front, and I'm going to purl the next 2 because we saw those little purl bumps on those. So I know that I need to make sure that I'm keeping the bumps on the same side each time. So here, no bump, so I'm knitting on these 2, yarn to front, and I'm purling. It's really good to look at the row below. If you stop halfway through the row and you forget where you are, or you're not sure where in the pattern you are, and you know you're just doing 2x2 ribbing, then look at the row below and you should be able to work out whether you should be knitting or purling. And then finally, I'm just going to do 2 purl stitches here to finish off this sample. And that's it really. That there is 2 rows of 2x2 ribbing, 2 knits, 2 purls. The pattern is starting to develop. As you can see, I've got 2 knits here, 2 purls here. And if I was to carry on doing this, what I would end up with is this here. This is 2x2 ribbing, a little bit taller sample to show you. So thanks very much for joining me. I hope to see you next time.